Prater the Ballgame, 5 o'clock in the moment you've been waiting for on our Double Tap Pub hotline. Boise State head football coach Spencer Danielson joins us. Coach, can't wait to have a conversation with you. Welcome to Idaho Sports Talk. How you doing today, Coach?
Johnny, what's up? Mike, how we doing, guys? Appreciate you guys, as always, letting me on, man. I get fired up with the intro every time.
So do we, Coach, and we're talking for the first time today. This might be the first time you've had to be interviewed by Johnny Mallory twice in like 4 hours.
Uh-oh.
Is that okay?
I mean, right now, I'm really excited to hear from you, Mike. I've had enough Johnny. You know what I mean? I feel good on it.
Coach, what?
Well, hey, both of you guys are amazing, man. I got to get down to the studio one of these days. That's on me.
Well, we'll make that happen this summer, Coach. Hey, what does go on this time of year for head coach of Boise State and the current kind of Wild West landscape of college football? What are you doing on the day in, day out?
Yeah, a lot of it right now is, so like last week we were down in Arizona. We had Mountain West meetings. All the head coaches got together, then had some summit meetings with other head coaches. It's a lot of recruiting on campus for me, so making phone calls, checking in on where we're at, and then just getting a lot of stuff ready for in a couple weeks when our players are back in town, getting ready to roll. So making sure summer's planned out, fall camp's planned out, and then getting with some supporters and boosters and some donors in the area. So kind of like all the things trying to get ready for the 2-month push for fall camp when our players get back in town. So it's a new landscape for me in that, but it's been fun to do it. There's some times that you miss being on the road, being able to go see these kids practice and whatnot, but it's fun to be able to transition and kind of help back here at home base.
Coach, tampering, it's a major talking point for us here on Idaho Sports Talk. How crazy is tampering in college football in your perspective? I mean, would you call another head coach if you ever felt maybe his program was coming after your roster?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, it's happening. It's out there. And just like anything, like we were even talking earlier today, Johnny, like I can sit around and be frustrated about it. I can try and throw my hands there. For me, it's happening. Now, if and when guys have tampered with our players, or I've been told that they do, I call them and I say, hey, I really appreciate if you guys wouldn't do this anymore. And obviously, they deny it and whatnot, which is fine. But I want guys to know that I know. And it's a respect thing for me. And I tell them too, if which I know is not happening, but if someone from Boise State was tampering, doing something, please let me know too. This is a two-way street, because I promise you I'm trying to do this the right way, and I promise you we will. And so will it move the needle? Probably not. But at least for me, it's about doing things the right way. It's about doing things by the rule. And if ever I hear things that I feel someone's not, I'm going to call them. And at the end of the day, some people might not like that I do that, but I believe in doing things truthfully and doing things the right way, even if it's uncomfortable. And that's what I believe in.
Spencer Danielson, Boise State football coach, joining us live. He's down at Boise State. We're here in the rowpaint.com studio. Coach, I want to follow up on that a little bit. What has been the reaction? Have coaches kind of pushed back at you on those phone conversations and said, it's not your right to call me? Is everybody been kind of cordial and businesslike? And do you know of anybody else that does that? Or are you just kind of one of these rare birds that goes out and tries to do it the right way?
Mike, I don't know who else is doing that. I'm sure there are. And the coaches I've talked to have been great. I mean, they'll obviously deny it and say, hey, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. And once again, is that true? Is it not? Who knows? But I know it's happening, and I'm told it is. And so it's the reality of what's going on in college football. And I don't know the answer. People have asked, well, how do you change? I don't know. And so I try not to spend too much time thinking about it. The big focus for us is making sure our players, our relationships with our players are on point. They know that they're being developed here. They're taken care of here better than anywhere in the country. And that's our right to our players. And I believe that. So I believe when someone stays here to be a part of our football team, this is the best thing for them right now, long term. And they're going to develop to be the best football player they can be. But like we talked about, even more importantly, the best young man they're going to be when they graduate from college for whatever God has for them. NFL, the professional space. So that's kind of where my thought process goes. But in regards to tampering, if and when I hear of it, and I have heard of it, and things are happening, and I know it's happening everywhere, I call guys and I tell them, hey, this is happening. This is what I heard, and just wanted you to be aware. I'm asking you to stop and move on from it. And guys that I've called, they've said, hey, I promise you that's not us, and blah blah. That's fine, and we keep it moving.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You're going to be a lot of fun to cover, my friend. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We can't wait to get after it. We want to talk about quarterbacks. We want to talk about portals. We want to talk about name, image, and likeness and give you a chance to clarify some things that happened out there today. But I just wanted to kind of clear up some business here and talk about your two most important words since last November, roster retention. At this point, do you expect any change in your roster? Do you feel like the 110 guys you have are locked in? Do you expect to lose anybody? And are you still yourself dabbling in the transfer portal? And if I could even throw in another question there, what position?
Yeah. Well, right now, obviously, with the portal closed, feel good about our team right now, who we have locked in, and excited to push forward through May and then into the summertime. Always looking to see, what players out there that can help our team in all facets. And it's not just what they could do on the football field. We protect our locker room at all costs. So even if there's a player out there that we think can help us on the field, there's a lot of due diligence that goes on with our staff, and our staff does a great job, turning over every rock to make sure what type of a person is this that we're going to bring into our team, because we don't recruit the transfer portal a lot. And so when we do, or there's a player out there that's intriguing to us, we do a lot of research to make sure that he fits our play. So right now, we're always looking to see who's out there. Our coaches are doing a great job. We're doing it together to see are there some pieces out there that we could bring in to help our team. But there's not one position specific to where it's like, hey, we got to go get this. I love our team. I love the crew we got. We still got a long way to go, a lot more developing to do every single day prior to kickoff. But I like our team. But yes, we are looking to see if there's some pieces out there that we can bring in to help our team in the future.
Spencer Danielson, head football coach, Boise State here, Idaho Sports Talk, Prater in the ball game. Love the transparency earlier about the quarterback competition and just what led to the decision with you and your staff for Maddox Madsen to open fall camp with the Blues and Malachi Nelson with the Orange squad.
Yeah, well, John, it's not fall camp yet. That's when we're going to come back in the summertime when we start doing a little bit of football. Obviously, way less than it is going to be in fall camp. Maddox obviously is a guy that got the starting job last year in season, was hurt, wasn't really able to do much spring, was able to do 7-on-7, but not really able to compete in spring. And Malachi did a really good job, throughout spring ball to push himself to the top of the guys that were playing in starts. All our players get back the day after Memorial Day. So as you start doing a little bit of football together, obviously primarily more strength and conditioning, but Maddox will start with the Blues, which are our ones, and Malachi will start with the Oranges, but that's going to be constantly evaluated even throughout summertime, even prior to fall camp. And the competition is going to be extremely high for both those guys. And it's a way to get them both reps. And just like we've done here before, we're going to continue to evaluate everything to see who is the best quarterback for us to win games and who's going to be the game one starter. And obviously that's going to be evaluated all the way through summer and into fall camp.
Boise
competition will be through the roof.
Sorry, Coach, didn't mean to cut you off there. Boise State coach Spencer Danielson is joining us right here on Idaho Sports Talk. Just in terms of that quarterback situation, I like details. Let's talk details. When you and Dirk and your offensive staff are coming to that decision, what specific details gave Malachi the edge right now?
Yep. Well, right now, coming out of spring, everything's evaluated, right? So obviously, Maddox wasn't able to be in that evaluation. We're going off just what he'd done to this point. But for Malachi, with the rest of the quarterbacks through spring, everything's graded. So every single practice, every single scrimmage, all 15 practices were graded. And when we look at it from top to bottom, by the end of spring ball, Malachi graded out as the top quarterback that had competed in the team periods throughout spring ball. And so now I'm excited to see him compete with Maddox. And now Malachi is a guy that obviously he was the only quarterback in that room that didn't know the offense prior to this semester. And so excited for him to go into summertime now, knowing the offense, having that confidence about it, and so he can let his skill set shine. So excited to see that competition with him and Maddox in the summertime.
Spencer Danielson with us, Prater on the ball game. And Coach, some things were, incorrectly reported on social media earlier today regarding NIL and freshmen, and we wanted to give you the opportunity to clarify some of that stuff.
Yeah, the biggest thing, like we were talking about, is just obviously as a head coach in this space, when we recruit freshmen, we don't talk about NIL, and no NIL or collective and that stuff is promised to anybody. Now, any athlete can go out and get NIL opportunities in the community where they're from here at Boise State, that is up to them. That's between them and what they want to do. But for us, in regards to when we recruit young men, it is not about, hey, if you come here, this is what we're going to be able to do for you. This is how we're going to develop you. We're a developmental program. So what I was talking about earlier today is all the freshmen that come here now are not promised anything. They're promised a chance to compete. And what happens when they get here and how they earn it, then absolutely things come from that. But there's no banning of things and you can't do this. It's just, hey, you want to come to Boise State, you're a guy that wants to earn everything. And those guys that come here are. And so that's the biggest thing. But in regards to our collective and the NIL space, like that, the NIL space, our players can go out, whoever they are, and find NIL opportunities in Boise or where they're from. That's up to them. That's out of my control. And I want our guys to have opportunities for that. But in regards to recruiting and who we recruit as freshmen, we want to recruit guys that want to come here because they know this is the right fit for them. They know they're different. They want to come here because that's what we're about. We're about guys that want to bet on themselves. And they're not coming here because they were promised money or promised these things. That's not what we believe in here. So those conversations are not having. We're having conversations about them coming here to earn it and coming here to be the best version of themselves. And in that, I know the money's going to come for them with our collective and some other opportunities. So that's our belief. And does that mean that there's going to be some recruits that want to go somewhere as a freshman where money might be promised to them? Yeah, maybe. And that's okay. We don't need to find 500 of the right guys that fit us. We need to find the right 2025 year in and year out. That's our deal here at Boise State.
Spencer Danielson, Boise State football coach, just kind of a follow-up to that deal. Are you talking about incoming freshmen, true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, maybe first and second semester guys, regardless of what kind of title we put on them? And let's go back to because you're right, the businesses can go off and do whatever. If Malachi Nelson and his dad want to chase NIL money on their own free time, I suppose, as long as you're giving them the green light, that's good to go. The collective, though, that's what you guys can somewhat control. Would you ever give any kind of a freshman, regardless of what label we put on them, money from the collective?
Yeah, so the collective space, they're really the ones that have those conversations with our players. Like, that's not run by me. That is an outside situation that helps support our players. Once again, it's just in regards to my recruiting conversations. And I'm talking high school, to clarify, I'm talking high school seniors or juniors right now that we're primarily recruiting that are going to be seniors that we would sign in December. Those conversations, we're not having conversations about money because that's not why we're recruiting these players. We're recruiting them because they're going to come here to be developed and be the best version of themselves. While knowing, I tell them, hey, you want to come here and earn the things that come with our collective and the NIL, that's up to you. But that's on you coming here and earning it. We're not going to have those conversations when we're recruiting high school football players coming out of high school.
Coach, the Mountain West had 2 players drafted a couple weeks ago in the NFL draft. Prater and I were very disappointed in that number. You just met with all the other head coaches in the Mountain West. Are you and any of them concerned that this conference is maybe losing some of its viability regarding being a feeder system to the NFL?
Yeah, I think just like anything, every year can be different. For us, we've got a lot of returning players for us. So I think every year is different. I think you are battling the fact that able to keep your roster intact with the transfer portal and some of the stuff. So that's a constant battle. That's a battle for almost everybody in college football right now. But I think year to year things change. Obviously, when I saw that, the more thing that I thought about was there's a lot of really good players coming back to the Mountain West because I've seen them, and a lot of them are underclassmen that are going to be back on the field in college football this next year. So I don't see it because I know the NFL and knowing those guys and knowing player personnel guys in the NFL, they're going to come find you wherever you are. And I know Boise State has had a phenomenal track record with putting guys in the NFL 14 straight years prior to this draft. But I know we didn't have guys drafted this year, but I'm excited for the potential for our guys for this upcoming draft a year from now.
Coach Danielson, I would imagine from August 1st until probably about May 1st, you're focused on your team 100% of the time when it comes to work. May, June, and July, your mind can wander a little bit. And I'm guessing I'm going to ask you about the group of 5 and maybe talking to your coaches and your peers at that Mountain West meeting last week, talking about the group of 5 poll that's been proposed this week. I hate it. I think there's going to be a divide and a wedge between Power 5 and group of 5. your players, you've done a fantastic job of inspiring your players. Every time we interview one of your players, they talk about chasing a CFP invite, not waving a white flag and trying to win a secondary title as a group of 5 champion. You want to still chase Fiesta Bowls and CFP titles. How do you feel? And this time of year, as you spend and your mind wanders for 5 minutes, how do you feel about the place that Boise State, the group of 5, and college football and some of this nonsense that's going on out there?
Yeah, Mike, there's obviously a lot of different things going on, a lot of things proposed, and I've seen and read about those things. Group of 5 playoff, group of 5 polls, some of these other things. And to be honest, and not giving you guys the cliche answer, I mean, I'm focused on this season. I'm focused on our team we got. I'm excited about our team. I don't know what that exactly means. We haven't played any games yet. But I'm excited for our team to be able to work their tail off to win games, win another Mountain West Conference championship, and have a shot to go to the college football playoff. Obviously, we haven't played a game yet. That's all hope. But that's my focus. What happens in the future with the group of 5 and where it's going? Obviously, things I look into. But right now, that's our focus, Mike. And that's because that's all we can control. What happens in the future, where college football shakes down to, where Boise State fits in the future, I don't know. And nobody does. And so when the time comes to make decisions on what it looks like, we'll make those. But right now I know my focus and what I'm excited about Boise State football, this place, Bronco Nation, is working our tail off to play really well game 1 and win game 1, and then fight our tail off to go win a Mountain West Conference championship and have a shot at the CFP.
I don't know if anybody's approached you, but along those same lines, that report that came out earlier this week said group of 5 coaches would vote in that group of 5 poll. Has anybody approached you? Would you vote in a group of 5 poll? And maybe the follow-up there is, have you even been approached by the Associated Press to be the coaches FBS poll? And would you vote in that one?
Yeah. So in regards to the group of 5 poll, haven't been asked where I stand on that or where I would be on that. In regards to the coaches poll, that we do every, weekly with our conference, I'm going to be involved in that voting.
Spencer Danielson, Idaho Sports Talk, Prater the Ballgame. And, Spencer, Bill Parcells, I heard him say once, if I have to give a player a motivational pep talk, well, I've got the wrong player. It's up to you to motivate yourself. Where do you fall on the line of where's your sweet spot in motivating your players, but also expecting them to motivate themselves?
Yeah, no doubt. Really good question, Johnny. So the term coach comes from stagecoach, right? So a stagecoach was obviously back in the day before cars. So it was a means of transportation to take you somewhere that you can't go on your own, right? And so that's where the term coach comes from. And I use that a lot because that's how I see my role. I am in these young men's life to take them places they can't go without me. If they could go and achieve everything they needed without me, I'm wasting their time. I'm wasting their time. I'm not developing them for life, because if I can't take them places they can't go without me, without our staff, then we're not helping them grow. As a coach, it is my job. It is why God put me in this seat to develop you to be a better person on and off that field. The 4 or 5 years we got someone, we have to make sure they are ready to be a champion in life, whatever that looks for you when you're done playing here. And so in regards to motivation, you want guys that are internally motivated, that turn the lights off, nobody's watching, they're still going to work. But that's not the reality always with 110 players. And so for me as a coach, you got to meet everybody where they're at. Everybody's motivated differently. Sometimes it is, and I'm a high energy, intense guy, but sometimes it's a quiet conversation off to the side with a young man to say, hey, this is where we're at. This is where I need you to step up. I need you here. So I think as a coach, the fine line, and I am not saying I do this great all the time, but is knowing that, yes, there's team motivations where I speak to the team, in our meeting rooms or at the practice field or prior to games. But I think the sweet spot in motivation is knowing how each one of your players ticks and what they need. Meet them where they are so that you can help them motivate. Because once again, you're trying to take them places they cannot go on their own.
Well said.
Jeremiah Dickey's going to stand up at a podium here in the next couple of weeks, we think, and talk about the North End Zone project. I know he's juggling some behind-the-scenes stuff. Ballgame periodically jump in and talk about the shiny, fancy toys that we want to Albertson Stadium. I know they've talked to you, and I know this is, again, low on your priority list, but when they come to you, what is Spencer Danielson's wish list for the North End Zone project?
Yeah, Mike. I mean, I've seen a lot of the renderings and seen a lot of the things, and I know Jeremiah is going to go through it in more detail here in the coming weeks. Just speaking frankly with you guys, it's an amazing upgrade to Albertson Stadium. It's something that I think is not only going to be a phenomenal experience for our fans to enhance Albertson Stadium, a stadium that's already a national icon, but something to even enhance the fan experience. But it's also going to be a huge addition for the student athletes at Boise State, not only for the football players, but even for the rest of our athletes, being able to have some different aspects there that Jeremiah will talk about in more detail. So I think holistically, it's going to help not only the student athletes here, football players, but also the rest of our student athletes. But it's going to be an absolute game changer in regards to the fan experience at Albertson Stadium. I know Jeremiah Dickey and the whole athletics department is pushing forward. And I know they're working their tail off to get off the ground and get it moving.
Can't wait. Coach Danielson, always appreciate your time on Idaho Sports Talk. And I know as a girl dad and a fan and huge advocate for women's sports, we hope to see you at the Boise State or the Mountain West softball tournament over the next couple of days. If you have a couple minutes to swing on down there, that'll be a blast, Coach. Always appreciate your time. Thanks for giving it to us today.
Johnny, Mike, appreciate you guys, and I'm fired up for Justin and his girls, man. They're going to do a great job. I will be down there. I'm a little bit upset they're not going to let me throw out another pitch. I really want another shot at the title. You know, I'm coachable, so I'm already getting better. So I'm going to be hitting Justin to see if I got another shot. So I appreciate you guys.
And Spencer, you misspoke there. You're not going to get another shot at the title. You're going to get another shot at Prater in the ballgame, who actually out-athleted you in this particular situation.
No question. I might have to transition to throw it overhand, man. I was messing with Johnny. Maybe I was the dumb one there.
Great stuff. Appreciate you, Coach. Well done. Well said. And that's why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk. Prater on the Ballgame. That was our video segment brought to you by the Dollar Loan Center. Visit don'tbebroke.com. All the regulations, all the rules. It's all there if you're in the market. 16 new locations in Idaho. Let's recap that, Prater, on the other side of this. Prater in the Ballgame, Idaho Sports Talk, KTIK The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this